All right, ladies and gentlemen, joining me on the line, he's going to be on tour in the month of November. It is Joe Bonamassa. Hey, man, how you doing?
I'm doing great, and as we found out, when I call in, it comes under my own name, not my wife's name.
Joseph.
You know why? Because I don't have a wife.
Really? How's that treating you? Is that a good thing or a bad thing?
You know, some people look at the decor of my house, and it's basically nothing but guitars and amps and old blinking neon signs, and they go, "You're clearly not married." And I'm clearly not married.
Well, some people get lucky with that stuff, but you know what I think I'm always most jealous of people that aren't married or don't have a family or that sort of thing. Just the freedom to be able to be like, you know what, I'm going to a movie tonight, or I'm going to go do this or that. You know what I'm saying?
Yes, and the other thing that comes up too from my married friends is the term discretionary income. So have a little bit more discretionary income or money laying around. So
Yeah.
there's pros and cons to being married. There's pros and cons to both, and you know, happiness finds people in different ways.
You know what? I wouldn't trade my family for anything, but it is an interesting experience when your wife works at the bank you bank at.
Oh,
And
yeah.
at one point she writes and she goes, "So, how was McDonald's today?" It's like, you stalker.
Yeah, that's some big brother stuff. That's some big brother stuff. You gotta have a secret credit card, man. I'm telling you, be a lot happier.
You know what? I'm not smart enough. In our relationship, she is the boss by a long ways because she knows. At one point, she goes, how did she say it? She goes, after we got married, she goes, "Do you want me to just pay the bills?" I'm like, yes, I do. And I haven't written a check in years.
Oh, then that's great. You know, and your credit score's perfect. You know, that's because the wife handles it.
Exactly. Well, this isn't about the wife. This is more about Joe Bonamassa. You're getting ready to go out on tour. You've got, it looks like you're going to be out most of November. What's going on right now? Like, what leads up to a tour for you?
Well, you know, we did our summer run, which we recorded a DVD at Red Rocks.
Oh, cool.
And played a couple nights there. And we did a whole Time Clocks record in its entirety. It's like a concept show. And so we got off, did that, did our charity cruise in August, and I've been home for a couple weeks. And basically now it's just, we're getting together a set for the fall. Basically a month from today we start rehearsals, and we go in for 3 days. We do production rehearsals, kind of, blow off some of the cobwebs and get out there and start playing. We're looking forward to it. It's after a couple of years where we didn't really tour much.
Yeah.
It's nice to go out. Back out for 5 weeks.
Yeah, that's been the interesting thing about it is not to make bring up other people, but some of the other artists I've talked about, everybody always goes back to that. Man, it really sucked to not be able to go out for a couple of years. So now we're really excited.
Yeah, and now everybody's out as well. I mean,
Yeah.
It's a very crowded touring. There's certain markets where there's concerts 5 nights a week, 6 nights a week, and all major names. But it's just one of those things where if people were there's a pent up demand, and we as artists and musicians we really get our identity from the stage.
Yeah.
The days of just making records and and staying at home. I mean, it's kind of a bygone era. I mean, most acts that are actively recording are touring, and it's an extension of one's the extension of the next, and it's the only way you can make any real money is to go out and tour.
Let me ask you this, and with the 2 years or so that nobody was touring in mind, how's the Joe Bonamassa show different from before everything happened to now? How has everything changed? Is there anything that you kind of went through in your head? It's like, we should try this different. A lot of people did a reset on this type of stuff. Has there been that for you?
It's funny. I think I've become a better singer.
Really?
By not singing. Yeah, it's weird, because I was very conscious of, there's only so many pitches in the arm, but if you don't, if you're not throwing a fastball 5 nights a week, you could lose your skill set. So I basically took a long break where I didn't sing or play at all, and then went back to it and slowly kind of worked my way back into getting match fit. And I came back a better singer, and I don't know why. I guess just having a break and just a mental and physical reset on the voice for some reason I'm a better singer, which, hey, listen, I'll take, it's better than coming back and then it's like, oh my God, he's terrible now.
Oh God,
what
happened?
Let himself go.
How did you become a better singer? Like, is it, because some people that come back, it's like, oh my gosh, my voice is lower than it was, or, it's higher. How did you become a better singer? What was it?
It's just phrasing, and I believe it's gotten a little bit lower than it was before, but tone-wise, it's better.
Okay.
And it allows me to phrase things in a different way that when I hear it back, I go, that's not bad. That's better than it was before. And, it's just, I think of, turning 45. I mean, it's just a natural, it's just a natural progression. Very few people have the same speaking and singing voice their whole lives.
Yeah.
I mean, like Paul McCartney's one of the rare, anomalies, Glenn Hughes, people like that, Paul Rogers, they could sing the same notes they did when they were 20. And it's like, okay, well, that's obviously the exception, not the rule.
I gotcha. You know what? You're just a couple years older than me. Getting old sucks, man. So.
Dude, that's the one thing when, the millennials make fun of they'll call you like, one of the popular social media, trolling posts is okay boomer. And I'm like, all right, dude, it's going to happen to you. The one thing nobody can prevent in this world is laps around the sun.
Yeah.
Once everybody's going to make one lap a year, and then you get older and you get wiser and you see the world from a different perspective. But it does suck because things start breaking down and you have to maintain yourself a lot more than you did when you were 30.
Yeah, I wish someone would have warned me about nose hair. I didn't know it would be this big of a part of my life at this point.
Well, you saw the commercial. You saw the grooming kits that they were selling, and you always thought that was for older people.
Yeah.
Until you become one, and then you're like, hey, that ad really resonates with me. Maybe I'll call that 1-800 number.
And now Amazon showed me nose hair trimmers every couple days. So.
Yeah, and I'm going to get ads all day now that we're talking about it. Like,
isn't that weird?
Well, yeah. Well, it's weird because the phone listens to you and it tries to sell you things.
I was just talking about this with a friend of mine the other day, that there was something that I didn't search, I didn't look up anything, I didn't see it on the phone, but I was thinking, boy, I need to get this. And within a day or so, that showed up. It's weird.
It's weird. It's an algorithm. That it's our phones are nothing but the Sears catalog of 2022. It's just they rarely make decent sounding phone calls, but they'll sell you products all day long. That's when they work their best.
Joe Bonamassa on the line with me right now. Tour's coming up. You'll be in Des Moines in about the middle of the month. What's it like to go out on tour with you?
Very calm.
Really?
We're a pretty large organization. We have a bunch of buses, trucks, and everything, but it's calm. And the mantra is, no matter what happens, the guy in the suit's going to get on stage at 8:00. And our backstage is super quiet, all pros, and it's all about giving the best show for the fans. And it's all about hitting that apex curve at 8:00, where you have the most energy, the most. And just you're in right mental and physical condition to go out there, and that's it. Step and repeat 5 nights a week, and that's what we like. Every night's an adventure. We change the show every night, and and some are better than others, but generally we're pretty consistent. So, and I guess I'm a decent guy to work for. I pay well, and I don't complain much. So
that's a wonderful boss there. All right, how many sunglasses, suits, and guitars do you take on tour with you?
Suits, there's probably 25 or 30 in the case. 2 pairs of sunglasses, and about 12 guitars.
Only 12?
Only 12.
I don't know why I thought it might be. I thought it might be like one of those numbers that's surprisingly low or surprisingly high. 12, I wasn't really expecting. I don't know why.
Yeah, and I'll go through all 12. Everything's out there for a reason, and there's spares and backups. I mean, that's not including the guitars that I buy on the road, which averages about 4 or 5 a week when I'm heading through guitar shop after guitar shop, which is a habit I need to break. But generally, with a show, it's about 10 or 12 guitars depending on the show. How many guitars do I own? a little north of 500.
Wow.
So that's a lot.
Do you? Is it more of a collector thing, or do you play them all for something or other, or is it just to have them?
It's a collector thing. It's my hobby.
Okay.
And I do use them, but I collect old Fender and Gibson stuff from probably 1950 to about 1965, and that's 99% of my collection. But I use the old stuff on the road too, so it's functioning art, and the good thing about my habit is, I can look at it, I can admire it, or I can just make music on it. You know what I mean? So that's, so it's a healthy habit.
And tell you what tour did you go on that at the end of it you're like, oh my God, I bought 100 guitars?
I average probably one per show. So if there's 25 shows, the most I've ever purchased on a tour was 35 or 40. But I have big cases where I just put them in. And that's when you get back, because like our home base is Nashville, Tennessee. I live there part-time. And when I get back there and I pop open those big trunks and I'm like, what did I do? Why did I buy this? Then you can buy more. Yeah. Because you're bored, and you're out there killing time on the road where, I should focus my energy in more positive things than just, being in guitar shops.
Are you the touristy type on the road, or is the guitar, shop, whatever, is that your touristy thing when you're killing time in a town?
I've been to these cities that we're going to so many times. I've done the touristy stuff, and then a lot of times I just walk. I travel with a bicycle. You'll see me out riding a bike, which my tour manager hates, but it's good exercise,
Yeah, exactly. Let me ask you this. In the realm of guitars, what would you say is the Swiss Army knife of guitars that you could, if you had to take one guitar up on stage, you had to use just one the entire night, what one would you use?
I think you can get by with a Fender Stratocaster. I think you can do just about anything with a Fender Stratocaster. That or a Gibson Les Paul.
Okay.
You could figure it out. Is it the ideal sound you want for every song? No. But if you just had to have one the whole night, look at Eric Clapton. He plays the same guitar the whole night. It works for him, so there you go.
How many, so you use about 12. Do you use one more than other? Do you have like a main one?
No, there's like on the songs that I want that are written for Les Paul, I use the Les Paul.
Okay.
Songs written for Telecaster, I use a Tele. It's you got to have it's a toolkit. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You got to have a screwdriver and pliers, and it's just, that's the way I look at them. They're just tools to kind of they're conduits. There's a means to an end. It's like, this is the sound I hear. This is what we'll play.
Go back for a second. You said a song that's written for Les Paul, and that.
Yeah.
What do you mean by that exactly?
Like a sludgy, heavy riff. Blues rock. Big slow blues, a big ballad. It's generally a Les Paul song. You want the big, thick, round sound. Songs that maybe more traditional blues, you want it a little bit more like a Chicago thing, or like you pick up a Fender Telecaster, and if you want to I have a guitar that was made in 1951, that's a weapon. It pins people back in their seats,
Okay.
And it's like, that's a certain kind of song for that.
This is going to sound like a really, really dumb question, but is that kind of a everybody type thing that like everybody has a thought that Les Pauls are good for this, and the Fender is good for this type of song, or is it a personal thing?
It's a personal thing. I
Okay.
mean, you could ask any of the guitar players you interviewed, they'll probably come up with a different answer and a different reason for selecting the instrument that they play.
Okay.
But if I hear it in my head, I go, this is going to be the easiest to achieve that sound in my head.
Okay. I've never heard it stated quite like that, like a song written for a Les Paul. I've just never heard it put like that before. That's cool.
Yeah. I mean, so there's just songs that go, okay, this is a Les Paul. I wrote this, thinking it's going to be one of those big kind of ballads or sludgy blues rock. Okay, pick up the Les Paul.
Okay, interesting. Joe Bonamassa on the line with me right now as he's getting ready to go out on tour. What else you got coming up here other than the tour?
Touring, I produce records for our own label. We have a couple of releases coming out this year, but or in the next quarter. But Other than that, I'm just getting ready for the tour. I'm trying to like get a better work-life balance. I'm trying not to work all day, every day, which is difficult to achieve, but I'm working on it.
You know, that's an interesting question, real quick. For a lot of people, music is the escape. For you, music is, both an escape and it's legitimately your work. What is your getaway, life balance? What do you try and balance it out with?
I just get on my bike and ride for 3 hours and just no music, no nothing. I just zone out. And all I have to do is concentrate on not ending my career like by hitting a rock,
That's a good way to look at it. So, all right. Well, Joe, thank you so much for the time, man. It's been really interesting. Good luck with the tour, and can't wait to see you when you come to Des Moines. Okay, man?
And it's been a few years, so I'm looking forward to coming back.